What actor is the most guilty of playing the same exact character in every film? Starring Dwayne Johnson as a buff dude spy who can fly helicopters and perform CPR, who is sometimes funny. Seth Rogen. He plays Seth Rogen on every possible movie. Ryan Reynolds. Same quirky guy who speaks in overly written quips. Jason Statham. Don't know his name, but he's a Spanish Mexican actor who plays a gangsters in almost all his movies. Pretty sure his name is usually Hector too. Bald head, white tank top, goatee. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. Noel Guglielmi is his name. Hugh Grant, dithering, bumbling Englishman. David Spade, annoying American man teenager. Rebel Wilson, Owen Wilson. 74 comments. And how the fuck has Michelle Rodriguez not been mentioned yet? Kevin Hart, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Love the guy, but he seems to be in a lot of movies where he is just The Rock to me. Hector. People say Paul Giamatti is a great character actor. In my opinion, he is literally always Paul Giamatti. Zooey Deschanel. If Manic Pixie Dream Girl characters formed their own country, she would be their god empress. Bruce Willis. In the 80s, he was the guy from Moonlighting, cocky, punchy, streetwise and lots of quips. Then he became McClane, a cockier, punchier version of David Addison. Ditto Pulp Fiction, where he kinda had a dark edge but still the quips. Then the Shyamalan movies, where he got darker still and more serious. He's evolved, but it's like he's just playing the same character, just older and more serious each time. The one time he played against type in Friends, as the guy who couldn't stop crying. It was such an inside joke. Michael Cera. Except in This Is the End. John Wayne. He may have played characters under different names in his movies, but if you purge all that, they all did exactly the same things in exactly the same ways, for the same motives. Arguably the closest he got to breaking type was Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, The Conqueror, and Brannigan obviously, but in every other movie he basically played John Wayne in different clothes, and an eye patch for two. Even in roles where he'd have done better to add some depth, he just played himself with different clothes. Anytime he tried to step outside the basic pattern, it was blatantly obvious that he was out of his element and terrifically uncomfortable. Classical example, Barbarian and the Geisha, 1958. These men have a sickness. Stay away from them. The very delivery of the dialogue was so forcefully still-wilted and uncomfortable that you'd have to work hard to find an actor who could deliver the lines worse. John Ratzenberger's character Cliff Clavin could have done it better. Vin Diesel. Ed Helms. I don't mind it, I love his movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Of course. That's not a bad thing though. I have a bit of a story that works in the context of your question. I once heard somebody say Robert De Niro always plays the same character. That same person about a week later came back to me and said how wrong he initially was when he told me that he thought De Niro always played the same character. He had just seen Casino and Goodfellas but none of De Niro's other work. When he came back to me a week later, he had just seen Deer Hunter and Taxi Driver. To anyone who thinks Robert De Niro isn't a very versatile actor, you are completely mistaken. Jason Uptight Businessman Bateman. Bruce Campbell. Dwayne Johnson aka The Rock. Nicolas Cage as well, albeit to a lesser extent. Jesse Eisenberg, the dude from Zombieland, Social Network and Now You See Me, among others. Always plays a stuck-up narcissistic asshole who comes across as thinking he's God. I'm pretty sure he's not even acting. Just rocks up and starts talking down to everyone. Samuel Jackson. All of his characters say mother ********** in one way or another. Vince Vaughn. Kevin James. Godzilla. Tommy Wiseau always seems to be doing a Tommy Wiseau impression. Jenna Jameson. Same role every time. I don't know the actor's name, but he was recently in Ford vs. Ferrari. He was that guy who was a prick. It seems like he always plays that type of guy in movies. Adam Sandler. Danny McBride. Lovable manchild whose ridiculous one-liners and ideas are surprisingly cogent and heartfelt. Snore. I like him in supporting roles, but when he's the main focus he's just a big baby. Paul Rudd. It's almost always fair to assume that he'll be playing some sort of lovable goof in a movie. The Rock. He's an ex-military police that is now a butterfly collector. But then he has to save the world. Rob Schneider in every Adam Sandler movie. Will Ferrell. Dan Trejo. Seth Rogen. Jennifer Aniston. Benedict Cumberbatch. He's always the arrogant genius with poor social skills. Gonna get buried, but Ashton Kutcher. Since that 70s show he was doomed to play the lovable idiot. Jed. Jed starred in White Fang, 1991. White Fang 2, Myth of the White Wolf, 1994. The Journey of Natty Dan, 1985. And The Thing, 1982. He was born in 1977 and died in June 1995. He was a Vancouver Island Wolf Alaskan Malamute hybrid. Wikipedia. Sean Bean, not always the same role, but usually the same fate. Michelle Rodriguez. Always played the tough military chick. Jesse Eisenberg. Stan Lee. Robert Redford. He has one character in him. Granted, he plays it very well. David Attenborough. I've seen them all. Like, come on man. Mix it up a little. Play a waiter or a spy or a gay prostitute. Most of the cast of It's Always Sunny. I love the show and I love them. But whatever they play outside of the show seems to be the same character. Charlie Day plays Charlie. Even in Pacific Rim he was like Smart Charlie. Glenn Howerton is basically playing a toned-down version of Dennis in A.P. Bio, and Caitlin Olsen played pretty much Dee in The Mick. Aubrey Plaza. Always a scary, edgy, funny because she's being serious vibe. Not a bad thing. I am just starting to think they're just recording her being herself after she wandered on set. If you don't know her, think Parks and Rec. I know this is controversial, but Matthew McConaughey. Who's that guy who plays the Latino Hector in every film LMFAOOOOO? Honestly, while it works for his movies, Robin Williams. I love the man and the spirit, but at some point I think his movies are written around his persona. I think his character has learned to have fun, be a kid again, not like people tell you to be. To be fair, I haven't seen all his movies, but off the top of my head, Mrs. Doubtfire, a wholesome story about a father who feels he can win his kids back by pretending to be a nanny. Or Everything They Wanted in a Father. He teaches the businessman to be kind and loving, the TV show he gets. Hook. Love this movie. Peter Pan forgets who he is and his boyish habits and spirit. He realizes how boring and strict he has become and begins to believe in magic again. Jumanji. He literally plays as a childlike man due to growing up in Jumanji. He learns to love his father. Not as big on this one, but he is very much a character who goes through change for the better. The Night at the Museum. You have to be one with a museum and magic. Don't control it. Let it flow. Patch Adams. Saw a scene from this one where he puts heart and hope before money and technical mumbo-jumbo. Literally, a doctor is just like, this patient has a serious condition, in front of the patient, and Robin Williams is like, oh hi, what's your name, you sweet human being? Quote. Basically, Robin Williams' message: treat people with love and respect. Stay young at heart and true to yourself. Become the best version of you that your loved ones know you can be. Sylvester Stallone. Tommy Lee Jones. Same dude in Lonesome Dove. The Fugitive. No Country for Old Men. Always the same sourpuss. No One Said Tom Cruise. Noah Centineo. Mark Wahlberg. Kevin Smith. Carrie Henn. The child actress who was nude in Aliens. She plays the exact same character in every film she's in. Dave Franco. The Hispanic gangster in the movie Training Day. Don't know his name, but he's the guy with the line, "You ever get your shit pushed in?" I swear he's the same character in every movie he's in. Whoever played the main character in Elf. I honestly hate his character. It's obviously supposed to be comedic, but emo any character he plays just comes off as a bumbling idiot. This applies to many comedian actors too. Vin Diesel, minus Find Me Guilty, and Steven Seagal. In movies, Chris Pratt, tough guy, has internal struggles, is really fit, finds a girl, makes jokes. Jim Varney, Hector. Dwayne Johnson, Johnny Depp. He used to have range, but now he's just Johnny Depp. Actresses, but from what I've seen her in, Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe from Friends. I swear every time I see her in a movie it's just Phoebe. Maybe slightly toned down or older, but basically the same quirky character. I don't know if she's been typecast or if she really can only play one character. But it got old by the second time I saw it. Disappointed me because I'd honestly like to see her try literally anything else. Stretch herself a little. In a similar vein, I enjoy Rebel Wilson, but I would give a kidney to see her do something else besides the raunchy, gross, overconfident. And all that confidence is funny because she's fat, see? Girl, I sense she's got legit talent, and the version we got in Jojo Rabbit was a start. But please let her do something new and vastly different. Jack Nicholson. He only plays Jack Nicholson.